The next Windows 8 Metro style app we're going to look at is the Calendar app. Comes with Windows 8. It automatically appears by default on your start screen. We've been rearranging tiles, so mine is in the bottom left-hand corner. Find your calendar tile and give it a click to launch the Calendar app. Like with the Mail app in the previous movie, you'll be prompted to set up your account if you haven't already. I have, so if you still need to, pause this video and complete the steps if you'd like to follow along with me. Now by default, it's going to be using the same account you used to log into Windows. Just like we saw with the Mail app, you can set up multiple accounts so you can look at multiple calendars at the same time here in the Calendar app. You'll automatically arrive at the current month with the current day highlighted. You can see it's October 4th for me as I'm recording this. You may also see some holidays in there, such as the US holidays in October. We're going to talk about the options, but right now, let's just talk about what we see here. The default view is the monthly view. We're seeing the entire month. And as we move our mouse, we'll see navigation arrows in the top right-hand corner to move ahead, and one in the left-hand corner at the top to move back in time. Let's say we want to schedule something in November. Well, we could click the right arrow at the top to move to November, and now we're looking at mainly November 2012. Now to schedule something here in our calendar, whether it's the monthly, weekly, or daily view, all we have to do is click the date. So let's say, for example, there's a Lunch and Learn beginning on November 9th, and it's going to be a monthly thing. We just go to the square for the 9th, click once, and you're creating a new item. Notice the flashing cursor at the top for your title. Let's type in Lunch and Learn. If we wanted to, we could add more detailed information down below where it says Add a Message. I'm going to type in Monthly Lunch and Learn Various Topics. Now over here on the left is where we find the details. The current date is selected based on where we clicked in the calendar. We can change that. We could change the month. We could change the day, even the year. What we do want to change though is the start time. So let's click the drop down and find 12. You may have to scroll up or down to find 12. Of course, we want this to be PM, not 12 in the morning. So we'll change that as well. It is an hour long, but as we click the drop down, you can see some of the presets here from 0 to all day, as well as custom. I'm going to leave it at 1 hour. Where is this? I'm going to type in Conference Room A. Now it does show you when you make a typo, so we can go back and fix that. And then down below, you'll notice the current account that's being used. For me, it's my Hotmail account. If you want to do things like set up recurring meetings like this Lunch and Learn, and maybe have notifications sent just before it's time, you can go to the Show More link here and set up things like occurrences. Instead of just once, let's click the drop down and say this happens every month. A reminder can be sent, the default 15 minutes ahead of time. I'm going to need more time than that. I'm going to choose 1 hour. The status in my calendar will show up as busy, but if I wanted to, it could be free, tentative, out of the office if it was at a different location, or working elsewhere. I'm going to leave busy selected. I could also invite other people. And if you do that, you'll have other people who will get invitations by mail, and if they accept, their calendars will be populated with this as well. If you prefer, if you're sharing your calendar, not to allow people to see this, you can make it private as well. Let's leave it unchecked, and all we have to do now is save it. In the top right-hand corner, there are two options. One is to save. The other is to actually cancel this. So let's save it. Takes us out and back to our calendar. And you'll notice the color coding that's used by default. Anything you put in there will be colored differently than, say, the US holidays that appear here by default. Now that's just some of the options that can be adjusted. Let's start with our view. If we right-click anywhere in the calendar, the app bar appears. You'll see the current view highlighted as month. There are keyboard shortcuts for each one of these. Control 1 on your keyboard will switch you to the day view, or we can click it from here. Control 2 on your keyboard will take you to the weekly view. Let's try that. Control 2. And to get back to the monthly view, Control 3. And there we are. We can also right-click and take a look down at the bottom right-hand corner. Want to get right back to the current day? Just click Today, and it also has a keyboard shortcut, Control T, as in today. So no matter where you are in your calendar, you'll always be brought back to the current date. You can also create new events by right-clicking and going down to New. If it's something next year, I don't have to navigate to next year. I can just do it from here. So I could choose the month, I could choose the day, and I could choose the year from here. So it's just a fast way to schedule something way off in the distance, for example, without having to navigate to that location. Let's cancel this. This time we'll go to the top right corner and click the cancel button. Notice we have the opportunity to save this or not. Let's choose Don't Save, and we'll return right where we left off in October. Some of the options that we're seeing, like the US holidays, the color coding, etc., those are all part of the options that you can customize just by using the keyboard shortcut, Windows I, or moving to a hot corner in the top right or bottom right-hand corner of your screen and accessing settings from the charms. Your choice how you get there, but you will be looking at settings for the calendar. Here's where we go to accounts, just like we did with the Mail app, to add additional accounts. So if you have other email accounts that have calendars, you can add them here, and then you can flip between the different calendars from one application. Let's go back and go down to Options. Now here's where we see things like color coding. Anything I put into the calendar is appearing in blue. That's why that Lunch and Learned appeared in blue. A little further down, you can see US holidays. They show up in purple. Any of these can be turned off as well. If we don't want to see those holidays, turn them off. Click the slider to turn them back on. There is a birthday calendar as well, and there's color coding for that. And if we want to change the color for any items that we put into our calendar, look at the drop down and all the different colors you can choose from. I want it to really stand out, so I'm going to go for green. So I've saved that option automatically just by selecting it. When I go back and just click anywhere in the calendar, let's go ahead to the next month where we actually put something in. You can see the color coding has changed. So that's a quick look at the calendar app. Comes with Windows 8. When we're done with it, we can switch back to our start screen by hitting the Windows key on the keyboard. That's one option. Or if we actually want to close this up, I like to go to the top when I see the hand, click and drag down to the bottom of the screen, which closes it up and also takes us back to our start screen.